What's up? What's up? What's up, world? It's your man, Cal Quigley IV. Welcome to another episode of the Wallet and Wellness Podcast. We help you upgrade your life and go get it. I'm the Wallet.
And I'm Chris Randall, the Wellness. On this podcast, we help you build your wealth and maintain good mental health.
Well, today we have a very special guest in the house. Let me start off by saying, most of the time, 18-year-olds, they don't actually show up, right, Chris?
They don't. It's all text. It's all they talk like this.
I'm going to text y'all what I'm going to say, and then y'all just say it. Right. But this young lady, I've known her for about 6 or 7 months. I was speaking at an event, and she was the most profound question that I've had in a very long time. And the conversation just kind of built from there. Actually spoke at her graduation as the commencement speaker, so I had a chance to, kind of usher her into adulthood, give her some advice that she obviously took, which we'll talk about a little bit later. But without further ado, she's in the building, Miss Cerise Enriquez.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming.
So, Cerise, tell the people a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm 18, like y'all said, I'm young. I grew up pretty much like, everybody else, just grew up in Fort Worth. Came from nothing, making it into something. Mm-hmm. So,
absolutely.
I don't like to be known where I'm from. I like people to know where I'm going instead. So I don't speak too much about my past.
That's good. That's good. Chris and I often talk on this podcast about being 18 and what the difference would be in our era being 18 versus what this era has to deal with at 18. So let me go to my man Chris before I come to you, because Chris has, I don't know, how many kids you got? Like 6, 8? Every time I see him, it seems like he got another one. I don't know. So
it's not true. I hope it's not true. I have 3, 15, 12, and 2.
Okay. All right. So just kind of talk about what it's like raising children in this age. We were talking right before we start shooting about an episode with your son that you just recently went through.
Yeah, I think like we always talk about with how we grew up and what we had to, learn and go through and deal with. It was very simple. You went to school, you went home. Your parents taught you about, make sure you're safe when you go out. Don't get in the car with nobody. Mm-hmm. Don't, stuff like that. But we never had an issue with devices because there were none.
Right.
At most, if you was fancy, you had a beeper. if you was fancy, where you get to look down, somebody paging me.
911.
Right. I need a payphone. I got to call this person back right quick. That was it. There was no reason to get on. I remember you used to get those little AOL discs. Yeah. And you put it in your computer because that's how you got on the internet. And you had to wait for the sound and all that. That was the internet, but it wasn't no YouTube. Mm-hmm. You didn't get lost in the internet. It was real. You were probably a geek if you was getting on a computer at that time. You really had to do somebody taxes or something like that. It wasn't no surfing the web and all this kind of stuff. Right. So a lot of times it is, hey, I walk in the house. How long you been on your phone? How long you been on the, whatever, playing, whatever. Do some, that's what I have to say all the time. Yeah. Do something creative. Yeah. Do something creative for 30 minutes. Cut it off. Go play with something, a toy. Interact with your brother. Your brother's right here. He's been here the whole time. How about
he like where?
Right. Play with your brother. As soon as I walk in, ain't nobody changed the diaper. I look, it's soggy. I can see it right now. Can you change a diaper? Oh, well, I thought it wasn't. Get off. That's what I'm saying a lot of times, So we didn't go through that. We went over people's houses.
Right.
We went down the street to play at so-and-so's house. Yeah. For a long time. Yeah. Now I do think it's hotter now than it was. But other than that, we was outside. You used to walk to the store to buy candy and chips and stuff and then walk back and just run around and talk,
I remember one time we rode our bike, man, from here, no lie. Okay. We rode from here to like the border of Texas and Arkansas. In one day, we were just on the bike. I know it sounds ridiculous, right? But
and they let you do it.
Yeah.
They was just like, we outside. Yeah. Okay.
We'll see you later.
You know how big outside is?
Yeah.
Outside is huge. And we was just letting kids go and then just kind of, real talk, hoping that they would come back.
Or not.
See, that's crazy because now they talk about when the street lights come on, come inside.
Mm-hmm. Well, it was that way too.
Yeah. How long were y'all, how long did it take for y'all to go?
What you mean, go where?
Like all the way down there to.
Oh man, I don't know, but we was back before the lights came on. We were. We left like super early, and we had scouted it out. That's back when you used to look at maps. So we drew out the map, and we were like, "We're gonna go ride," and da da da. And before we knew it, we saw a sign, and it was like, "Yeah, you're getting close to Arkansas." So we were like, "Okay, let's head back." I'm serious, man.
Yeah.
We were
How
like
many of y'all?
It was like 4 or 5 of us, man, on my street. It was about 9 of us, kind of grew up around the same time. So we used to do all kind of crazy stuff. Yeah. We had a football team on the street. We had a baseball team. But yeah, we just figured out. We literally left about 6 in the morning. I remember that. And part of the reason why is because we were going to try and go fish for like redfish or whatever this fish was we were looking for. So we're like, all right, this is what we're going to do. We're going to get up early. All our parents went to work early. Yeah. So it wasn't like anybody was, asking you where you're going. And so we packed some snacks and we're going to hit the bike. And yeah, we watched too much ET back then.
And how old are y'all?
Man, we was probably 11 or 12.
Yeah,
crazy. I couldn't imagine my kid going anywhere for that long. Nowadays.
That is wild.
And then our parents didn't even know. When they came back, they was like, how was your day? I'm good. Cool. I'm going to sleep for like 2 days though. I was tired in the mud.
But 11, even that, like, we mapped out our course.
Yeah.
We're going to pack snacks.
Yep.
And then just go. Nowadays, I'm not trying to talk about young kids. I'm sure they're intelligent in a lot of different ways. But now I feel like you would had at least 3 kids passed out because they forgot to drink water. Like, what is going on?
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That's wild.
So what's like the wildest, most adventurous thing you've ever done in your life?
Uh-oh. Come on.
Don't tell us that story.
I jumped off a bridge one time.
Really?
In Montana.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Tell us about the situation.
What
did you jump into? Like
it was like a flowing river.
Oh.
Which I think it was pretty exciting, but I mean, there's a lot of other things, but that was just a beautiful experience to me. Like I was on a trip. It was like ministry, and we went down there. We were just having a little fun, and I just jumped in. All of us did. It was pretty hot too, and it was like freezing cold.
Wow,
it's beautiful down there.
Wow,
Montana. So who do you know in Montana? Like what was?
Nobody at all.
So you didn't talk to anybody while you were there. You went, jumped in the river, and then came back to Texas.
No, we stayed at a house, but I'm not sure. It was a long time ago. I don't really quite remember.
Oh, okay.
Man.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have crazy. I mean, I guess just growing up doing, different things is I won't say crazy, but when you're young, like anytime you get to be by yourself, anytime you get to hang with your friends, even if it's just Six Flags, you're like, but that's nowadays it seems kind of crazy to parents too. If you just let your kids go to like Six Flags all day by themselves.
Which is weird because people are more connected. Like back in the day, I had a Six Flags season pass every year. My mom would drive up. She would wait for my aunt to bring my cousin. They would, once everybody was there, boom, we get out of the car. And they wouldn't even like give us a time. They'd say, bye.
We'll be back.
And then we would just go hang out and do our thing and, come home before the street light came on. I guess that's how we knew it was time to come back
I'd say life itself is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I mean, but think about it. Do you think it was more people being kidnapped and assaulted and all of that stuff back in the day? Or do we just know about it more now because we have more access through our phones and,
I would probably say both. That's a hard thing to kind of try to quantify, try to figure out, because it's like, it's crazy people are not new, you know, but what was happening, you know, back then? Why were 4 11-year-olds able to ride their bike almost to Arkansas, and we was just cool. Everything. That's wild though.
Yeah,
like that's wild.
It was.
I feel like it definitely is more known, and also like social media. I mean, you see all these things, and they definitely influence people, and it probably promotes it as well.
The Quantum Prosperous financial firm serves as a catalyst for men of all races. It celebrates diversity to shatter the barriers of financial limitations, recognizing that the collective strength of different races and cultures enriches the entire community. By fostering a spirit of collaboration and shared success, this group has created an empowering ecosystem where everyone can thrive. Join us as we shatter the glass ceiling of success for all and create a legacy of abundance. Quantum Prosperous.
So, Cerise, let me ask you a question. How bad do you think the actual attachment or slash, I hate to call it like a, what's the word I'm looking for? Like an addiction. How bad is it for your generation?
To social media? I think it's pretty bad. I feel like, honestly, it has become a lifestyle. Like, you know, going through life and learning many different personalities, I go around people and I see like, hey, like their social media, like you can tell there's a certain lifestyle that they live up to. Certain ways they dress, talk, act, and certain times it makes them lose their personality going into that personality. Like it feels like maybe they've been like attacked by it, honestly.
That sounds like a spiritual attack.
It do.
Definitely.
It do.
So are you saying that like you can see within people where they're trying to be the person that they see on social media? Or are you just saying that I guess that's what my question would be. Are they pretending to be that person? Is that what they're really trying to do?
I wouldn't say maybe pretending, but maybe looking up to and dreaming about it. Like honestly, like you see people like comparing themselves and people looking up to people that, you know, they don't even know. And honestly, I don't believe half of the stuff that is seen on social media because I feel like it's all kind of set up like a distraction, you know. You don't know what's real. You don't really know what's going on. You know, people, it's really just an image like that people put up, you know, just like we're talking about like financially, like they go there to escape their mental health, you know.
Wow. So do you see a lot of like situations where people's self-esteem is affected, you know, by their social media or what they're trying to aspire to be?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like when people, once you get to a certain age of maturity, you understand like just like, you know, being in the streets, like you come into a little world and then once you break outside that world, you see that there's more outside that world, you know, that you never seen, that you were never introduced to because, you know, you have to unlearn what everything you were taught.
Okay.
Because pretty much who you are, I mean, it's everything off of reactions, everything that people fed you. So it's like the same thing, but that's something normal, just like, you know, back then they were raised off of religion.
Right.
So that's all they knew, you know. And then now it's like they're raised off of social media, so like that's all they know.
That's deep.
It's like that's kind of like what they worship. I see it as a false idol as well.
Wow.
So
talk about it, sister. Talk about it. When you talk about the church specifically for this generation, where do you see the future of the church going? Do you think, like a lot of people say, the church is dying, especially in the Black community? What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, I say what's in the dark will come to light, and I think that, you know, the light is coming through. I see a lot of people turning to Christ lately, and I see.
That's great.
You know, I see it coming. Like, it may not be promoted, it may not be liked, but it's happening, and it will be seen one day, I believe.
Do you think we could put Pandora back in the box? Do you think there's ever a point, kind of a tipping point, where we start to revert back to the ways things were?
I do see history repeating itself,
Okay.
but I see the bad things repeating itself. But I don't see things going back to the way they were. I mean, you know, everything. I see it probably getting worse, but if it does go back to how it was before, it'll be even greater because it's coming from nothing, turning into something because, you know, your disadvantages are your advantages.
Right.
So coming from this broken world and turning it into something, I think would be great.
Yeah.
I see it maybe happening in a lot of smaller scale ways, you know, versus coming from like big tech or, you know, from the government as far as some sort of mandate. But I see people in small pockets, you know, maybe moving, you know, to say, hey, we want to focus on kind of distancing you from social media. We want to, you know, kind of put some sort of blockades in, you know, some things to happen. Because with my children, like I said, I wait or have waited to give them access to social media, you know, as on purpose, you know, just to show them, yo, pay attention to you and then pay attention to your friends.
Right.
Pay attention to the fact that you aren't on any social media, you know. So look at the limits that we've put on you and your device, and then pay attention to how your friends, you know, are interacting. Even as simple as holding a conversation. There are times when people tell me and my wife, your kids talk to me.
Yes.
Your kids look at me in the face when they speak. I ask them a question and then they give me an answer, you know, and I always say, hey, we're not telling you that you're different for no reason. Pay attention to what's going on. You can talk to people, you can have a conversation, and they're always giving you guys compliments. And the reason is because when we at home, I say, hey, look at me. Look at my face. Hey, don't be, so many young people are afraid to talk to adults. You know,
why do you think that though? Why would they be afraid to talk to somebody? I mean, everybody talk about get the bag and we gonna make money and all of this thing. So they have to sell themselves at some point, right, to people. So like, how can you be afraid, or what's the idea behind being afraid to talk to people?
I'll say it and then I'll let you tell me if this is something that you experience. I think a lot of times older people, because I always say the older you get, the more distance is put into your younger self. So you forget what it's like when you're 13, 14, 15, 16.
Right.
You know, so the older you get, the more, in my opinion, older people are talking down to young people.
Okay.
Quit doing all that. It's a lot of nagging and nitpicking and things like that. So if you're used to that, especially in school, you're dealing with teachers. A lot of teachers, unfortunately, are like, do the work. So your interaction with an adult is always, I'm only talking to you because I'm in trouble. You don't really want to know about me. You don't want to know what I'm into. You don't want to help me in any way. You just want to give me the work so you can grade it. So blah, 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 blah. So as soon as you say, hey, come here, then they already like, me? What? And then they get up to you and say, what'd I do? You didn't do it. I'm just asking you where you got your shoes from. I'm just trying to see where, you know.
Yeah.
So you tell me, when you were in high school, whether it was you or whether it was your peers, did you see a lot of that interaction between, you know, young people and adults being more so negative or positive?
I mean, I think it really just depends how you were raised. Like, I know a lot of people try to demand their respect instead of earning it. So I think that has a lot to do with it. Like, you know, when you try to demand your respect, it automatically creates that tension where you feel like, you know, they don't understand, they don't want to hear me out, I can't speak to them. And also what you're saying, like, I feel like sometimes when adults come to children, you know, it seems like a chore, like maybe discipline, like, you know, and that's only because they don't want to do what you're telling them, which is probably to do better.
Right.
So they have to have that will to do better.
Yeah.
Like, not everybody wants to hear it, and that just means they're not ready for it. But also that understanding, having that understanding and that connection with somebody will help them to listen to you better.
Connection is big.
Key.
Discipline is teaching, and a lot of times it's easy as an adult to see other adults treat discipline like punishment.
Right.
We even use it that way. You're being disciplined, and it's some sort of punitive aspect to it, versus I'm teaching you. I'm disciplining you because I'm teaching you. You know, don't touch this, don't do that, do it this way, you know. And yes, a young person may see it like, you're trying to tell me what to do. You know, well, there's a way to formulate it to where they understand you're teaching them because they want you to do, you know, better.
Now, Cerise, talk a little bit about, I know you don't want to share too much about your past today, but talk about kind of like what in your past has propelled you to be very successful as a young person, and then kind of talk about what those next steps are for you in the next coming months. We got some exciting news, right?
Well, I say, well, growing up, I had to adjust to many situations. You know, I don't want to say bipolar, but definitely, you know, I don't know how to say it.
We call it trouble.
Emotional mother.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, 1 minute you're cool, 1 minute you're not. You know, getting kicked in and out the house since like elementary school. So I had to learn how to adjust to situations really fast and be prepared for stuff all the time. So, and within that, I always had faith, and, you know, seeing how everything was, I just always wanted to turn it around. I never wanted to be like anybody else.
Yeah.
So I did what people didn't do and kept my faith. When I didn't have no one to talk to, I talked to God, and that definitely took me far.
That's amazing.
H. Diman Clothing Company stock is now on the rise and is quickly evolving as a major influencer in fashion, by becoming a multifaceted brand that the smartest investors are keeping on their radar for 2023. For a relatively young company, H. Diman is now forming strategic relationships with major brands to become the next big thing in fashion. And if you don't know, well, now you know. Urban design has always been at the forefront of any major design company. The influence is loved and respected worldwide. Everywhere you look, people are looking for the current new trend in fashion to look their flyest. Hence, the slogan of H. Diman. Come be fly with us.
All right, Jessica. See, she on my mind now, right? All right, Cerise. So we're gonna.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
3, 2.
All right, Cerise. So as a Air Force veteran, I want to first of all tell you welcome to the club. We've had some conversations here about some other branches. We're not going to name no names, but as we know, the Air Force is superior in more ways than one. I was in the Air Force for 10 years, man, had a chance to live on 5 different continents, go to 40 countries. I mean, do all of these amazing things. So first of all, what made you want to go to the Air Force? And like, what are you most looking forward to?
I kind of had been deciding it since I was younger, like in elementary school, because a lot of my family went, and like they were in like JROTC and stuff like that. And so I had the plan to, and you know, having that hard life, I kind of got set back. So once I got set back, I thought, you know, there was no way, you know, gaining like a record. I thought there was no way. And then I went to court and I kept my faith, and it got dismissed. And I signed up.
That's what's up.
I'm really going for school. you know, and to be set financially. And for the rest of my life, I really crave education. So I feel like from there, you know, I could go wherever.
You can do whatever you want to
learn everything.
Yeah, both my wife and I, both Air Force veterans. That's where we actually met. So never know, you might meet your loved one there as well. I remember my first duty station. It was in North Dakota. And so we were talking earlier about cold. I saw 70 below twice while I was there. I saw the Great Flood of North Dakota while I was there. Saved a bunch of people's lives, got a medal for it and all of that kind of stuff, right? So that was really cool. But like when I think about my time in the Air Force, it was absolutely the best thing for me at the time. I was coming from a neighborhood that, you know, had a lot of violence going on, and my parents were like, hey, we need you to figure out what you're going to do to get out of here. And so even though our community isn't exactly like it was then, it's still like a lot of negativity that surrounds our community. So have you thought about, like, when you come back, first of all, how long do you plan on doing?
I have no idea, because I was thinking about like cross training and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, and moving up.
Right.
But depends. I'm the type of person who really can't stay in a place for a long time. So I should see how that goes.
Well, that's good, because the Air Force don't leave you in a place for a long time. So, by the way, don't go to Korea. Everybody's going to tell you, hey, this is the easiest way to move around. Don't go to Korea.
What's in Korea?
We'll talk about that.
Look, everybody watching the list like, come on, man. What you going? Yeah.
All right, so I will say this about Korea. So the older you are when you go to Korea, the better. Because think about it like this. Like, when you go to Korea, you're 18, 19, 20, right? You can't drink in the United States, but in other countries, you can drink all you want, right? They have this drink over there called soju, and it looks like water. It kind of tastes like water, but when I tell you the alcohol content in there is like ridiculous, 180 proof, like everybody was 180 proof. Yeah, so yeah, you can get into some trouble over in Korea if you don't have your scruples about you. This is the other thing I'll say. The first night I went out there was the first time I ever ate dog. I know everybody just hit pause and rewind, right?
Sheesh.
Yeah, tastes like chicken. Tastes like chicken. Yeah, so they got these little huts set up, and you come out of the club, you've been drinking soju, and you looking at it, you're like, oh, okay, I take one for $1. And next thing you know, they tell you what you're eating. So it's a little strange situation over there. So again, don't go to Korea. She like, oh, okay, now I see why you say don't go. Yeah. But where is one place in the world that you'd like to go if given a chance?
Like just to visit, or maybe live?
No. Like a duty station where you'd be, stationed for a while, get a chance to know the lay of the land, those kind of things.
Really anywhere. Maybe another country though. Maybe like South America.
Absolutely.
Sounds nice.
Yeah. Yeah, so at the end of our episodes, we always have a Quantum Prosperous Clear Box question of the day. And so let's see what we got today. What's our question of the day? So what plans do you have to become financially free in the future?
Military's part of it. But also, I mean, again, with the faith, giving, you receive. I trust that. And I always knew, like, since I was younger, I'm going to be something. Like, I got to be, like, I got to take care of my family and everything. So just being smart, saving, investing, stuff like that. That's what I plan to do. I really want to retire. I don't want to be working like.
That's good.
I see people working and using all their energy every day, and it's like I can't live like that. Like it literally kills you.
It
like,
does.
I don't want to do that.
It does.
Cal, can you talk about some of the perks, financially speaking, when people do go, to the military? What Absolutely. Are they? What is afforded to them? If that's a route that they choose.
Yeah, so the first thing is, like Cerise mentioned, your schooling is taken care of. I have 4 degrees working on the 5th, And I've never had to worry about paying for like tuition and all of that kind of stuff, you know. So that alone,
for real, the college debt so high.
Oh my God, man!
Yeah, that's a game changer.
We were at me and my man Ray. We went through a program a few years ago, and the program's like $105,000.
Wow!
And so everybody was, you know, trying to figure out how they're gonna pay for it and everything. And I was able to just like focus on the education piece. Why? Because Uncle Sam got me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that alone takes care of a lot of things for you. But also, you know, when you're in the Air Force, you start investing in what's called a TSP, Thrift Savings Plan. That's a retirement fund that they put together for you. Now, if you don't end up retiring, you don't necessarily get that money, so you have to be smart about it. I always tell people now, if they decide, hey, I'm not going to stay in the Air Force, set up an IUL on the backside of that. That way you have a fund that you'll be able to take with you, where with the TSP you don't. Another benefit is travel. You know, like I said, I've been all over the world. There's only 2 places I haven't been, Australia and Antarctica. I have no plans of going to Antarctica, so but I do want to go to Australia.
Yeah.
And then I guess I say the last piece is just being a veteran, especially in a country that really appreciates its veterans. I mean, you know, you get all kind of discounts on stuff. That's cool, but even with my daughter, like she'll be able to go to college for free at a public institution because of the Hazelwood, which is specifically to Texas veterans. So it's good you're going in here. So not only will you get your education paid for, but your children can as well. So it's all kind of benefits out there. I know a lot of times in these times, people are like, I ain't going to the military and that's not a place for a black man or a brown woman or whatever. They got all these things that they say. They said the same stuff when I went in. But as you can see now on the backside of it, knowing someone personally that has been through it, I would say it was absolutely the best decision I ever made.
Wow.
Yep.
What's the oldest age?
I think
Just in
they'll
case
take
people-
you, man, it used to be 33, maybe
Okay.
35.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So whoever's watching, as long as you ain't hit 35,
Yeah.
that's, you know, because a lot of people, I know me, I only really think about it for a younger, you know, person, because it's just like kind of like college. Like,
Right.
okay, this is what you do when you graduate high school. You know, you go to college or you go to the military. But after that, I don't really hear people talking about it going into it, you know, at an older age. So that's, I don't know if people know that or not.
Yeah. No, that's a great question, man. And I come from a military family. My wife is the oldest of 6. And so we've convinced some of her siblings to go in the military. One of my nephews is currently serving right now. And again, man, the benefits just continue to increase.
Yeah.
And so when we talk about, you know, school debt and those kind of things, like, excuse me, when you think about the advantage that you'll have, because now you're not saddled with that debt. I mean, really, for me, I tell most young people, if you don't know what you want to do, go to the military. You got reserves, you got all kind of, you know, different ways that you can be affiliated with the military. I suggest you go full time because you get the most out of it if you do it that way. But there's always an opportunity to be affiliated with it. And even if you're in the reserves, you get the schooling.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily get all of the perks and benefits, but that's what I would add.
Wow.
So Cerise, lead the people with some motivation and tell them how they can follow you on Instagram or well, you ain't gonna be able to get to it, so don't tell them that.
Well, you know, it's good to leave off with a scripture.
Yeah,
I would say.
absolutely.
One thing I do want to say is, you know, the good Proverbs, lean not on your own understanding, because that might get you some places.
Or not.
Or not, yeah. Because also what I learned, like, whatever's in your mind controls your body. So, you know, choose health and not disease. But there's actually 2 verses, Hebrews 3:13. Encourage one another daily as long as it is called today, so that none of you may be hardened by sin's deceitfulness. And Hebrews 2:1 might be a little hard to comprehend, but we must pay more careful attention, therefore, to what we have heard, so that we do not drift away. For if the message spoken by angels was binding and every violation and disobedience received its just punishment, how shall we escape if we ignore such a great salvation?
Oh, man, that's beautiful. I don't even want to say nothing after that. Let's just thank y'all for Amen. There you go.
Yep.
All right. Thank y'all for tuning in to this episode of the Wallet and Wellness Podcast. We'll see you next time.
Upgrade and go get it.